Hello, Jason here from septictank.co.uk, and today we're going to talk about septic tank risers. So what are septic tank risers? How do they work, and why would you need them? Well, let me explain. Right, so to start with, here is a septic tank riser. Now, septic tank risers can come in different shapes, different sizes, but this is a typical shape septic tank riser. Typically they can range from anywhere from 150 mil all the way up to 1,000 mil in height. Diameter wise, they can range anywhere from 360 to 460 to 600 mil in diameter. And basically they all come in sections. So you get one section, you can put another section on top of that section, and then, let me just get this, and then the lid goes on top or into the top of the riser. So they're called risers because they almost, I suppose, form like a chimney stack. There you go. So they form like a chimney stack. And typically, most risers will go up to, safely up to about 1,000 mil. Okay, so I've shown you what risers are, but why would you need them? And how do they work? Well, let me show you the principle here, right? Oh, okay, so this is your house, believe it or not. I'm not the best artist in the world, but that's a house, right? And let's say this is a normal house with a normal waste pipe coming from it. So the normal waste pipe would come from the house, it would go to there. And then everything can then be worked from the levels of the waste pipe that comes from your house. Now, if the waste pipe is relatively quite close to the grass, right, then your septic tank, we just imagine that is the septic tank for a minute, then the septic tank, the top of the septic tank can be basically flush with the grass or just below the grass, and then your lid would go on top of that, and the lid would either rise up slightly from the grass or it would be flush with the grass. So that's an ideal situation, but unfortunately not all situations are ideal. All right, so let me give you a scenario now in which you'd need septic tank risers. So let's start again. So let's wipe that out, and let's say this is your grass baseline here. Okay, and let's say the waste pipe for some reason coming from the house is quite deep. So let's say the waste pipe starts there. All right, so which is the case in some instances. If it's coming down, you've got a basement or a cellar, and then the waste pipe goes down from there. That's one instance why the waste pipe would be so deep, or just say the builders have just put the waste pipe really deep. There can be a number of reasons for doing so. Now let's say that the septic tank, the top of the septic tank, which should be flush with the grass, is now, oh, let's just level that off. It's always hard to talk and hard to draw at the same time, but at least you know it's live and it's not edited, eh? So let's straighten that up a bit more. All right, so that's the septic tank, and that's the top of the septic tank. So let's say this is a prefabricated septic tank you've bought, right? And they only come at a certain length and a certain height. Now, regardless whether it's a concrete one or a plastic one or a fiberglass one, let's say when you actually connect it to the inlet pipe of the septic tank and the outlet pipe, you've now got this gap or space between the top of the tank and the grass. So if you left things as they were, the lid of the septic tank would be here. So if you need to get it inspected or you need to get it emptied, then you've got to dig a big hole down through the grass, through the soil, to expose, right, the septic tank lid. So what they came up with is, as I just showed you, septic tank risers, right, with the lid on the top. And so what that does is, once you put a riser on, say you're installing your tank, you would then put these risers on. And the risers would then bring the septic tank lid to ground level. Isn't that clever, right? So then your septic tank, even though it's quite deep in the ground, it can still function normally, but if you get a problem, the tanker man can just come, he can locate the lid because it's flush with the grass. He can lift the lid off it. So let's say I'm the septic tank man, I've come now, it'd probably be really tight, the septic tank lid. So I'm just giving you an in-house demonstration. So the septic tank man, he can come, he can take the lid off, he can have a look down into the septic tank, or he can even put his pipe in there and suck away all the fat, the grease and the sludge and all the wastewater. Or they can do a septic tank inspection now without having to dig your garden up. And so that's why septic tank risers were invented. So how much do septic tank risers cost? Well, typically, as I said, they can come anywhere. They are about 360 mil diameter, and they can range anywhere from, say, 135 mil in height to 1,000 millimeters in height, which is a meter. You can go higher than 1,000 mil, but it then becomes unsafe, I suppose is the best word, because you imagine the taller you build a chimney, the less support it's got. So the higher it goes, the more chance it's got of toppling. And it's the same with risers. Once you build a big stack, so imagine, right, this stack went up and 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 up, right? And forget the house is there for a minute. Pretend your house isn't there, right? But you've gone down into the ground here, and your grass level now is here, right? What can happen is, if there's any subsidence in the soil, if there's any subsidence or anything, the actual risers can actually go off kilter, right? They can come out of sync, they can be detached. In that case, a load of soil would then pour in from the subsidence and then fill your tank up with soil, creating a hell of a problem, because to fix it, you've then got to excavate, you know, a big hole again to get to the tank, to get all the soil out and redo risers. So if you are going to go, if you have to go deeper than a meter, a suggestion to you, a septic tank tip, is not to use, right, plastic risers. Don't use plastic risers. Get the concrete ones. They're like Milton rings, but the concrete ones, right, they basically are like 600 to 1,000 mil in diameter. They sit on each other to that, and then so you can rise them up quite high to the grass. But the point is, the pressure from the ground won't bear in on the tank. You know, they'll resist that. They won't go out of sync because they slot into one another, and they basically keep the integrity of the stack there. So there you go. So I hope that video has helped you. That's what septic tank risers are. That's how they work. That's typically the size of them, and they can range in price anywhere from, you can pay from £10 a riser to, you know, I suppose £150 per riser. And as I said, they come in increments. You can't just get them 1,000. Typically, generally, you can't get them, you know, a meter, 2 meters, you know, molding. You've got to get them in sections and then build up to that. But listen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you'd like to see more free videos, then just go to septictank.co.uk, or go onto Google and type in Septic Tank TV. I've got the world's only Septic Tank TV channel, and if you subscribe, right, to my Septic Tank TV channel, you'll be in with a chance to win an extra large bucket of septic tank soakaway worms, which basically are amazing. You tip them straight into your septic tank, right? And they eat all the fat and the grease and the sludge in a septic tank, just leaving the wastewater. And if you've got a block septic tank, or you've got a block soakaway, then they'll go into the soakaway and they'll eat all the fat, the grease and the sludge, and save you thousands of pounds, save you having to replace your soakaway or your septic tank. So listen, once again, thank you very much for watching this video today. You take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
For more information, just click the link below this video, or visit septictank.co.uk for free help and advice.